Once upon a time, I went to a friend's house. Yeah, I'm in the tub. Can you tell? We're all adults, right?
Mommy.
It's so funny to me that people, like, I'm not showing anything, right? But just the fact that they can envision that there's nothing on me, they get all weird. Oh, there's no chip. I'm doing a video. It's a high video world. Anyways, weirdos, but I'm naked under my clothes too. Woo! Anyways, whatever. I'm inspired to do shit when I'm inspired to do it. And right now I'm in the tub when I'm inspired to talk about this. But once upon a time, I was at a friend's house and I went there so she could help me rest. But when I arrived there, I realized, oh, wait a minute, this bitch, I call all my friends bitches, all right? They're my bitches. I love them. I realized she's the one that needed to have breaks and rest from my little kids because they're so cute, but they wouldn't let her do anything. And they were in the middle of getting approved for a loan. And they didn't have anyone that would help them because they're, like me, weirdos that do what's best, not what's popular. So they didn't have any family support or friends. Like everyone had abandoned them because they choose to, home birth and all that stuff. So I was like, number one, you and your husband are going to get a divorce if you don't get breaks. So you need to leave and let me babysit. And they were really nervous about that, of course. But she knew that she and I are more like-minded, and that she could trust me to respect her wishes and so forth as far as parenting and dietary stuff, etc. So I did fuck up a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. Trying to bribe her kids with a tiny amount of candy. But I apologized and admitted I messed up. Point is, I had to push myself, right? I didn't have to give because she needed it more than me. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because instead of judging her, because I could tell that she was burned out because she was behaving in ways towards her children that most people would just judge and be like, that's abusive. And I was like, oh, I've done that. I know what's going on here. And I know that's not what she wants to do, but she's burned out. She's tired. She needs a break. So instead of becoming a judge, I became a helper. And so then she did. She went out with her cute little husband and so on and so forth. And in the end, they got approved for their loan while I was there. And I was supposed to leave the next day. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't leaving. Like, yeah, I'm going to leave you with your little kids that won't let you do jack, but feed them 24 hours a day, etc. I totally relate. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. And she was having a hard time allowing me to pack her boxes because she wanted to do it correctly. Like, it's her stuff. And after 2 or 3 days of her barely accomplishing anything, I'm like, listen, I totally get it. I want to pack my own stuff too. But these little kids aren't going to let you do anything. They're not going to let me watch them. So you watch them. I'll pack the boxes, and I promise that I'll do it all with tender, loving care. And it's not going to be all organized like you would have done it. Of course, I don't know your stuff. But I pushed and pushed and pushed for 3 days. And then on the last day, and they had this one friend that came to help. Oh my dear Lord, he became a judge and started judging her stuff. And then he became a judge of her parenting and a judge of other weird shit. Like the little girl is 3 or 4 or some shit, tiny. And she called this fellow her boyfriend because she's a little kid and she doesn't understand what that really means to adults. And he got weird and pervy about it, not towards her, but just he starts lecturing her about how this is inappropriate and all this weird ass stuff. It's like, dude, you realize she just meant a friend, right? But no, this dude was a 5-year-old in a man body, obviously. and didn't, right? And so, I mean, the point is that wasn't helpful, right? Like, just shut the fuck up and pack the boxes, dude. So, of course, my friend was upset because this ding-dong decided it was appropriate to bring this up. It's like, she's tapped out and exhausted and doesn't need to waste energy on this bullshit, right? And so my friend's like, I'm gonna murder him. She didn't say that, but you know what I mean? And I'm like, honey, I love you, but we need his muscles because I'm really exhausted and I'm barely doing what I'm doing. And aside from packing, we have to move all this shit from this house to that house. So let's just take it up to Bungholio and not say shit and get him to help move like the fridge and dressers and really heavy things. And so they milked it like another day with this dude, but in the end, then he started demanding payment and all this weird shit. I'm just like, wow, this is a not friend. So he had to go. Like, she was like, she did her best. She tolerated the bitch as long as she could. And I meant bitch like in the sense that most of y'all interpret that as. And he went the next day. So I stayed another day and a half. We finished at 3 a.m. And I had to go on my way. And I even lost track of time. I thought it was the right time for me to pick up my kids in time when I was leaving. And they're like, hey, when are you going to be here? I'm like, tomorrow at 5. And they're like, you're supposed to be here today at 5. I'm like, whoops, I messed up. I apologize. I'll be there when I can be there. I had to help my friend, period. You'll be fine. Bye-bye. And so, you know, the main point and only point of this video is that judge guy is an idiot. Was not helpful at all. All he did was add stress to an already stressful situation. All he was a terrible friend, a not friend. And he did help with what he helped, and thank you God, but he also expects you to get paid for it. Like, ew and gross. And so then, you know, I did what I did, pushing myself to levels where I did even make myself sick because she needed it more than me. And that's what I do sometimes. And I'm kind of at that point right now as well. And I don't care because I'll be fine. I'll rest and recuperate and heal later. But instead of being a judge at my friend, you know, like maybe yelling, maybe being a little more aggressive with her kids, than what she really wanted to be, instead of judging her and calling government on her and other bullshit that people do, I just went, oh, she needs help, and I helped. So let's be helpers instead of callers of the government. Let's be helpers instead of judges. Nobody wants to be frustrated and yell at their kids. If they're doing that, it's because they are exhausted, dipshits. Oops, sorry. Sorry, not sorry, right? Because, come on, like, we are adults. We need to get this stuff and stop being judges that hurt people instead of helping. We want to heal our planet. We don't want to add hurt to hurt. So, just food for thought. Planting seeds. Please plant them and grow them, because this is not just, you know, bull crap that I just made up. It's like obvious common sense stuff. And you might not realize that people that are, you know, living in filth or living in frustration and anger and so forth, they don't want that. It's just that they are at their wits' end. Okie dokie. Like, I had a person that I was very kind to, in fact, record me yelling at my kids and calling me an abuser instead of the female, a mommy herself, helping me. Why don't you help me instead of backstab me? You know? So instead I got backstabbed and betrayed, which made me more exhausted and stressed out. It's complete utter nonsense, and it's abuse when you do that to people. Then you're an abuser. You're an abuser. Think about it.